Welcome to Damsels in Dialogue, a podcast dedicated to the female protagonists in fiction, film, and the stage. Co-hosted by Katie Zutter
and India Marie Paul. Here at Damsels in Dialogue, we support the LGBTQ+ community and all women, because trans women are women.
For our second season, we have wands at the ready, and we'll be discussing the women of the wizarding world. This episode, for our season finale, we are finishing up our discussion about the lead heroine of the Harry Potter series and our favorite know-it-all, Hermione Granger. Guys, it has been a journey. Woo! Thank you so much for listening to this latest season 2 in the Wizarding World. And for this surprise bonus episode, we just really felt she needed it. Hermione Granger has a lot to say. So thanks for coming along on the journey. And a special thanks to the sponsor of our Hermione Granger 2-part series, if you will, duology, is the Hazel Society, magically inspired apparel that is made to order. So check them out. You can find them at Instagram at Hazel Society Shop. And thank you so much again for the surprise 2-part sponsor. We appreciate you a lot. Everybody go check them out.
Spooky season may have ended, but that means holiday season is almost here. So
get your gifts, friend. Get your gifts now.
Yes.
Where last we left her.
Yes.
We had just finished talking about books 1 through 4. Now, just to get this out of the way, we did, if you have not watched that episode yet, we did talk about Spew in the previous episode, so we will not be speaking about that again. So if anybody hasn't seen that first one, duck over to that. Skip past Spew if you want, however you're feeling. And we will start right in with book 5.
Yes, Order of the Phoenix. So this is a very dark book, and we meet her, correct me if I'm wrong, so she spent the summer with the Weasleys at Grimmauld Place. With Ron. And not her family. So they didn't go on holiday this time.
Right.
She's spending it with the at Grimmauld Place. And they haven't been talking to Harry.
They have not been talking to Harry. Sorry, I did that Midwest thing where I'm like, yes, no, but I really mean one thing. Okay.
I got you. I understood
correct.
I understood.
She spent the summer with Ron.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And upon Dumbledore's orders, why they didn't question that at all, because that seems extraordinarily dangerous to not tell Harry literally anything, but whatever. I mean, Hedwig knew what's up and always mauled both her hands. So for not writing them letters. So I appreciate you, Hedwig. R.I.P. They did spend the whole summer together. So you do see right at the beginning that they finish each other's sentences.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning is how much time they've spent together at Grimmauld Place, which does start Harry off as understandably frustrated and isolated. Now in the movie going forward, just as a blanket statement, in the movie, they really played off that and continued to make him feel more and more isolated, as opposed to the books. They're just trying to keep him safe. They're not necessarily isolating him from anything. They still definitely want him to be with people and be with friends. So that was one difference that really took out especially a lot of Hermione's things, since they intentionally chose to ostracize Harry in the movies. Yeah. You miss all of these moments of Hermione getting scared around Harry to be don't yell at me, it's not my fault. You miss all these moments of her being do not take this out on us. And that kind of stuff that we do get right away in this book.
And that's one of the things that I talked about in the last episode that I really appreciated, and it happens a lot in this book specifically, is when Hermione has matured to not take things personally. So when she is being attacked by Harry, it's very much hey, don't take this out on us. I know that you're angry, and the understanding of her friends, because as we have experienced, she doesn't quite get a lot of other people, but she does get her friends pretty well by this point.
Yes.
Which I really like. Yes. I like that growth in her.
I also enjoyed when she did call Harry out, because something we mentioned in the last episode as well, 2 things we mentioned in the last episode. One, they're a very good trio. They're a good group of friends. When you can call each other out for what they're doing, that's really important.
Yeah.
And yes, she's nervous. Yes, she's scared. But that's the second thing that we've mentioned before. Her home life is perfect. Now, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this last episode. I think it's really refreshing.
Yes.
That Hermione is a very simple only child Parents love her. I doubt she remembers a time that they raised their voices at her.
Yeah.
So people don't yell at her. Whereas, the Weasley house is always yelling.
Yes.
Not in a bad way. It's just loud.
Very loud. Very loud.
And then you have Harry who goes at it with Vernon every once in a while just to get some frustration out.
Yeah.
So I think it's really endearing in a lot of ways for her to be a little scared of Harry, understandably doesn't want to be yelled at.
Yeah.
But still has that bravery to push past that a little bit and be like, no, you really shouldn't be saying these things to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not mad at us.
Yeah. That she stands up for herself too, instead of like shying away from that is really great.
Her and Ron.
Yeah.
She stands up for both of them.
And they spent their summer decontaminating the house, which is a really cool part of the book that you get to learn about all these things and how to get rid of like magic infestations.
Yes.
And stuff. Like I really enjoy that.
And it puts a lot of things into perspective of like what the world is and the common like household uses of some of these things that we've learned about in the past. So that was also super fun.
Yeah.
Something else in the house that like wasn't, I just was like, are you thinking? Because she's like so smart.
Yeah.
But when she's like, we should set Creature free. He should be a free elf. And I'm so sorry. That is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
The worst
idea I've ever heard in my life. Like not even from her like let them be free standpoint like that. Yeah. It's literally the worst idea logistically. Which is why she's not a Ravenclaw. A Ravenclaw would have looked at that and been like, absolutely not.
You can't,
He knows everything. Yeah. He knows everything. He cannot leave.
He will go straight to them.
Tell them everything. Like, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But no. Then Hermione is not a Ravenclaw. And just every once in a while, we need that reminder. Every once in a while, we need that little reminder.
Like, you did not think this through.
Yeah. So, very funny.
Yes. She does it. Molly and Sirius get in on this. We talked about Molly a lot in our episode with her. But she does agree with Molly that Sirius tries to turn Harry into James, and I felt like that felt off to me.
I didn't like that having those thoughts and whatever, still was a little bit like, are you just copying Molly? Like, I understand, which happens a lot in these books. I feel like they're just like, let's put the women against, the women meaning like, we'll put Molly, Hermione and Ginny against like someone we don't like right now, which like makes no sense to me. But for this, like that bothered me a little bit. Yeah. What bothered me more is that she was so annoying about it, like kept bringing up so much and was so rude about it that Ron and Harry had to tell her to shut up.
Yeah.
That made me frustrated because like at this point, you are not just like stating your opinion and like stating your concerns for your friend, if that is a legitimate concern you have. Yeah. You are now being rude to the owner of the house you're in, who currently is going through a terrible situation. Yeah. And you are just digging him deeper. And he's been nothing but nice to everybody. It doesn't make sense to go that far, Hermione. I don't. I understand her like not getting it right away because she's like not as good at reading people. That just seems like common sense. He's having a hard time and he lives in the house by himself and can't leave. Maybe stop nagging him.
Maybe give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, a little bit of sympathy, a little, just a little bit of that.
He also questioned Dumbledore, which was very needed.
Someone had to at some point.
Yeah. They sure didn't when they were like, let's not tell him anything.
Yeah. We also, in this book, she becomes prefect, which
this whole scene made me so frustrated. It made me so mad because she, obviously she's going to get prefect. That's not a surprise. Yeah. What made me so mad is I understand the initial thought of like, oh, it's Harry. Yeah. But instead of waiting for Harry to open it, she's like, oh my gosh, can't wait for us to be prefects. Like, this is going to be great. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then has to backpedal so heavily when it's Ron. Yeah. And it's like, why could you not have waited for 2 seconds to let that be a surprise to whoever it was? Like, why are you like, what? Because then it just makes Ron feel like garbage. Yeah. For no reason. Whatever.
I think Ron was the perfect choice for it, but Hermione's reaction to it as the writer putting it in the book to make it hard on Ron, I don't understand the scene. Especially when you're trying to build, especially when you're trying to build those two into a relationship that could have been a really good celebratory moment, and it just
be surprised. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Be surprised it's not Harry. That I didn't have a problem with. It was the make him feel like shit first.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And then like really awkwardly try to defend him when the twins are like, oh no, we have another Percy, and like awkwardly defend him to Molly and the twins. And I'm like, Ron never gets these moments, and this is what he wants. This is
give it
everything he wants is to just feel special. He never gets it, and it makes me so frustrated for him.
Yep. Yeah, I wanted that little
girl,
spotlight.
This is what he wants.
Yeah, give him the spotlight for a second. Let it be fun. And she immediately, when they're on the train, like yells at Draco as well, which I appreciated. Her like she takes to her authority very quickly.
Well, she's already been doing that. She does no different.
Now she just has like the badge to be like, see.
Yes. Yep. Now she has the official okay to say those things.
Very dangerous. May not have been the best thing to give to her.
Speaking of that, she does say things that like that combination of her not being super understanding of people and then her just having that authority given to her. She just like continues to say things like, oh, she like quickly reminds Harry. She's the first one to remind Harry that like, oh, we need guards because of you. Or like, can't sit with you. We got to go to the prefix compartment. I mean, some of these things could have been either not said at all or said a little bit differently.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes. Agreed.
Although she did call Pansy a cow and said that she was thicker than a concussed troll. That was I was honestly disappointed because I thought at this point, I'm like, the girl rivalry is here, and then Pansy like falls off the face.
Yeah, it's like so close.
We almost got it. That taste thicker than a concussed troll. We could have had more than that. We could have had so much more, guys.
Yeah, if we're gonna go catty, we got to go like traditional mean girl rivalry.
Keep bringing it up. Why did Pansy all of a sudden leave? What's that about? No, I wanted more.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'll take that girl on girl like rivalry. That's fine. It's the one you're supposed to be like nice to. Yeah. That's the one you get upset. I do enjoy her sticking her foot in her mouth with Luna pretty quickly when she insults the Quibbler.
This is now the second time she stuck her foot in her mouth. During this book.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, and Luna takes it.
Yeah, we're at the beginning. She's done this twice. Yeah, Luna takes it like a champ when she's like, everyone knows that it's rubbish. First of all, that's assuming a lot of things about people that you do not know very much about. And then second off, she's clearly reading it. Like, she's reading it. She's in the compartment with you. I wasn't mad about that. That felt very much like an organic.
Yes, it did. Like a flaw.
She isn't reading the room flaw of like she doesn't understand people. Like that was it was very funny to me.
Yep. Yes, that was good.
Twice.
Yeah, that was it was a good foot and mouth moment that felt very Hermione.
Yes.
Good introduction to Luna. Then I love Luna and her as the world moves on.
Yes.
They just don't mix in like the best way. I love it.
Yeah. They do, however, later in the series, give all of the lines that Hermione is frustrated with Luna. They give those to Ron in the movies.
Yeah, that's so sad.
So it seems like Ron is more frustrated with her when really Ron is almost never. He's like confused. He's confused, and then he's like, "Huh, she's funny."
Yeah, he likes her. Fun. Like that friendship is really cute in the book.
Yeah. You know, so that is kind of a bummer. That does take away some of Hermione's flaws and some of that back and forth as we go on, just as a blanket statement instead of bringing it up every time. It's just from these books forward.
Yes.
Almost every negative line that Hermione says to Luna was given to Ron.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
That is a bummer.
But on the bright side, she does read between the lines of Umbridge's speech right away. She also later in this book brings up, when she reminds everybody about how terrible the speech was, word for word quotes part of Dumbledore's speech from book 4. Clearly she has some sort of like, because obviously she's not taking notes this whole time.
Yeah.
So she must have a very strong memory to be able to like directly quote things.
Yeah.
Which also is kind of funny that it kind of leads to believe that it's her anxiety of perfection that makes her read books like 1,000 times because like really she doesn't need to.
Yep.
Which also is kind of endearing to
That
like,
is very endearing. Yes.
You know, I'm like, I get you. I need the security blanket. I get you.
Yeah. And speaking of Dumbledore's speech, I really did like that she was kind of the only one in this book to call back to the in her house unity. Like, we need to come together during it. Like, it was a good reminder of some of the issues with the house system that exists.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I did appreciate that she had that thought a couple different times and harkened back to it. It was just a nice reminder, because we all did want to like unite against against Umbridge in this, and it became very like Hogwarts against the Ministry very quickly.
Yes.
So I did appreciate that she took that to heart. And from here on is when she kind of really sticks by whatever Dumbledore says. Like it's kind of book 5 is the hardcore.
She kind of has done that always.
That's true.
She's always like, Dumbledore said this, so like that's the law.
Maybe it just comes out more because of the Snape thing.
There's more things.
Yeah.
Well, there's also more things that he says.
Yeah, that's true.
He's more communicative with them during this, so like there's more for her to go off of. This is also the start, and this is very frustrating for me. But I really don't like this for Hermione. I don't like this for Ron. It doesn't make sense to me. This book, we're like what, a quarter of the way in, is what starts the really weird, and it seems a little bit jarring change where suddenly Hermione's super good at feelings and Ron is super terrible at feelings, and that makes no sense to me. I do understand. I understand them both being like a little thrown by their own feelings towards each other.
Yes.
I could totally see Ron being a little oblivious and being like, why am I feeling weird around Hermione now? Like that doesn't bother me. It's like oblivious to like she may be interested too. I totally see him not getting that.
Yeah.
But him just becoming totally ignorant of everything around him makes no sense to me, because he has been of the trio the best at reading the room up until this point. Yeah. And for Hermione, who in this book we've established does not read the room multiple times, suddenly becomes very good at reading the room and reading emotions and can read people like a book. And that I just didn't understand that choice.
I agree. And specifically with the Cho stuff is one of the things that really bothered me. Because all of a sudden she was giving us monologues about how Cho feels inside.
And unfeeling monologues. Like very unfeeling. Like when Hermione comes, I'm so frustrated about this. When Harry comes back from Christmas, it's like stated that she's like still sitting in her chair and she like doesn't even look up. And she's like, okay, so did you talk to her? Like, how'd it go? Are you dating? Like, are you jealous right now?
Yeah,
I'm
like,
so confused at what's happening.
I would have had so much more fun.
You're not excited for your friend?
Yeah, I would have had so much more fun if she looked at him and it's like, what happened?
Did you? You like this girl? And even how she says it, she's like, well, of course, like Ron's like, well, what do you do now? Which also was very endearing.
Yes.
Because you know, it just like cracked me up. Yeah. And she's like, well, obviously they'll start dating. He's like, but she says it like as a fact. She's like, obviously they'll start dating. Like, he's had a crush on her for years, which like is not wrong, but it just seems so cold. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so you're giving her all this insight where she monologues about Cho's feelings and she keeps telling Harry what to do and keeps like pushing a blubbering Ron who's like, wait, what? Out of the way. So that they can have time together. But she's going to be super cold about it and not like, oh my gosh, you got her? Did you get her? You've been wanting to date her forever. She likes you too. I'm so thrilled. I never felt that excitement from her, which made no sense to me if like you're good friends. It also did make sense to me. I could see Ron seeing that Cho wanted to talk to Harry alone. Yes. But I could see him also being like, why? Yeah. And being like, this is my friend, and like continuing to talk. But I don't see him being so oblivious that Hermione drags him out of the room and he's like, why did you do that? Like,
it does feel like a reversal. Like, I feel like Ron would have read the room and moved Hermione out of the way.
Especially since she gets weird jealous about it. Like, and I don't know if jealous is the right word. I don't know if that's too strong, but it's still weird how she behaves about them together.
It's very matter of fact. It's very kind of cold. And this is later on in the book, but it also then to plan a meeting with him on Valentine's Day to interrupt their date. That
was
also
the
like,
dumbest thing. It just felt rude. It felt rude and it felt very controlling. And then when she got back and she didn't feel bad. She didn't feel bad at all. It wasn't like she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It was, well, you should have said I was really ugly, so that's your fault. No, Hermione. Yeah. No. Yeah. If that you planned this unnecessarily because there are plenty of other ways that you could have gotten Beetle the journalist into the school or anywhere with Luna to write this article.
Or even to...
But you chose Valentine's Day.
Even if it's like, if that was the only... Really if it was the only day like Hogsmeade that they could make it so they weren't in the castle, just... talk to Cho. and tell them what you're planning. Just be like, hey,
tell
there's
Harry
this
at bare minimum. He had no idea.
Yeah, like that's just be like, hey, I have this really important interview with Rita, and this is the only day we could do it. I'm so sorry.
Because Cho is so on his side the whole time.
Yeah, she'd be so excited.
She'd be like, I will come. Do you need me to defend you?
Yeah.
It's like, I can talk about this. Like, she has firsthand knowledge of what happened at the trial.
Yeah.
Because of Cedric. So it just seems really weird. There's a couple moments from this book forward that not so much in the last book, but I guess the 5th and 6th book, where there's moments where I'm like, Hermione, do you want to be the only girl in the room?
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. You should want friends that are girls and want to support women because she's written as a feminist, but it doesn't feel like it.
I know. There's a lot of like distancing self from female friendship, and I don't understand why she doesn't try, and because Cho's really smart too. I bet her and Cho could really get along well. Like, I don't.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I don't know if it's just because Hermione doesn't like it as much because Cho is that popular girl.
Maybe.
And that's not her jam.
Yeah.
Padma Patil? Like, she wouldn't want to be friends with her? Like a no nonsense, like business only Ravenclaw?
Yeah.
That sounds like they would be great friends.
Yeah.
And like, not that, like, there's a couple of moments where like her and Pavarti have conversations, but it's almost exclusively initiated by Pavarti.
Yeah. It's really frustrating.
Just don't get it. Things that I do understand though is when feelings are starting to arise between Hermione and Ron in this book. And there are a lot of these moments where they're just like constantly bickering.
Yes.
Constantly bickering. Yes. I do enjoy in the 7th movie, they gave her a line that says like, I'm always mad at Ron.
Yes.
I'm always like fighting with him. And like, to me, that feels very like old married couple.
Yeah.
And, and it makes sense at the beginning because they're not really sure what's going on. And, like Hermione kind of knows the situation, but it's like, Ron, get it together. And Ron's like, I don't really get it. I like feel funny. At Hermione. And she's being weird. Like, why is she being weird? But like doesn't know what the next step is while he's also trying to balance, because this book too, Hermione keeps just like bossing Ron around. Like the whole book she's just like, when you come in with me and tell the twins that they need to stop, or like we'll tell the twins, like, Ron doesn't like this either, leave him out of it. No, he doesn't. You're not reading the room. The poor guy
that's so not gonna work. Like
that's like conflict of interest. Do not, like, he can handle other things. Do not throw him at the twins. They will eat him.
I did enjoy that her final threat that actually stuck was, I'm gonna tell your mom. Like, that was so funny to me and real. Like, I was like, it's the one threat.
No one messes with Molly Weasley. And even then, I don't even think it worked entirely. I think it just worked where they stopped advertising it and they started doing it in the down
they
low.
were sneakier about it, and she didn't have to like actively work against it after that. But that was the like final threat. It's like, I'm going to tell your mom. And I was like, that works. There are some really cool things that she does in this book. I really do enjoy how she handles the Umbridge situation. Like, one of my favorite scenes that she gets is like, I read the whole book. Now what?
Yeah.
And then
like Umbridge is desperately trying not to be impressed.
Yes.
She answers the question right.
Yeah, all of them. And I'm like, and she gives her own theory too. I'm like, yes, that is the best payback you could give this woman.
You. Get it, girl.
So
Get it.
I really appreciate that stance that she takes with her.
Oh, it's perfect because it's very, I don't think she intentionally did it this way. If she did, it would feel very out of character. Hermione naturally is just a very intelligent, like, let me tell you how it is. No nonsense person, which against someone who's trying to be manipulative when just straight facts are thrown at you. It's hard for her to manipulate herself out of the situation. So I also think that was absolutely brilliant. And I think just what makes it more brilliant is she wasn't trying to do anything. She was truly just being herself.
It was a good like mini protest. And she does like the activism we were frustrated with in book 4. The good part of her being that person to organize things is the Dumbledore's army. Like, that's a really cool thing and a smart thing that she does. Because she really spearheads it. I do wish
she communicated at all with Harry beforehand. Because she does this a lot where she just like, and this very much plays off of her she doesn't read the room thing.
Yeah.
She just does things and doesn't ask. So like consent is not like a super big thing for her.
Yeah.
Which is a little frustrating. So she did not really ask Harry. She just like was like, we're going to do this and I've already organized it.
Yeah, he should have been part of that organization.
Right. Or like, because it's not like he'd say no.
Yeah.
It was not hard for her if Ron was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course that Harry should, So, and even at the meeting when they're like, oh yeah, we need a teacher or like we need a leader.
Yeah.
At meeting number 2, it's like, whoa, I just wish there was some more open communication.
Yeah.
Instead of just constantly putting people on the spot.
Yeah.
Because that's not a healthy way to do things because they're your friends. And like all the things you're asking them to do would have happened. Like he would have done it, so that was the only thing about that I was frustrated with.
Yeah.
Her organizing it, making it happen was so needed, so necessary.
Yeah. It was the kind of activism, like go-getting person that we wanted to see.
Yes.
Rather than the frustration we had gotten in the past book. And we talked a little bit about this with the students episode with Marietta, but the jinxing of the paper.
That's another non-consent.
It's a
non-consensual. Like that didn't like that. I mean, I don't mind that she jinxed it. I just wish she said it.
Yeah, like
I wish she said
you knew what you were signing up for.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah,
because they didn't, and that also it's like you're just now manipulating people.
Yes,
instead of because I could have avoided the Marietta situation entirely.
Yeah,
and Zachariah Smith.
Yeah,
like,
both of them could have just been
multiple people
out.
Would have been like, nope, I don't trust you guys enough to do that. I'm out. Peace out.
And they wouldn't have enough information to then rat them out completely either. So like there wouldn't have been that issue really.
Right.
It's a really powerful thing that happens and it's really impressive magically.
Yeah, magically very impressive. But consent, man.
Yeah. It was really rough rereading it. I went, ooh, that's icky. It just felt really icky. And she does even more impressive magic with the coins. Like that was a really intelligent way to communicate too. So I do admire some of the use of her logic and cunning and cleverness in this book.
Yeah, I just wish it was not so.
Yes, it's tainted with that.
I don't even know how to just the lack of consent. I don't know. It just
making it like open.
Icky.
It's like they have voting and it's a democracy in the sense that they do technically vote for things, but she didn't actually include anyone.
No,
in the creation.
Just did everything. There is no democracy.
Yeah,
she just did it. And called it that. Which is a little more towards fascism. So
fair.
Yeah. How she goes about things, I don't like. Her intentions behind what she is doing.
Yes.
Absolutely in the right place. And that could be that Gryffindor do first, think later.
True.
So it may literally not cross her mind that she needs to ask people things.
Yeah.
Because she's never had to as an only child. But just, I wish, a little, just like, you can't be that oblivious to like the people around you and then like give us a monologue about Cho's feelings. In the same book. I just don't. Yeah. That doesn't read to me.
Yeah. Oh, a moment I did write down where she does kind of read the room for a second because it's her friends. It's her friends.
Oh, yeah.
When she doesn't let Harry and Ron cheat off her notes, but then Percy's letter comes to Ron. And she immediately goes, let me fix these.
It's fine. Yes.
To try and like break the tension of that horrible letter. So I did appreciate that moment.
Yeah. She does. This is her the OWL stuff where she starts getting a little inconsiderate about other people. And like, this is just like a classic Hermione thing. She's done this from the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is a very more endearing because I think it's that like anxiety nervous that catches up to her.
Yeah.
Where she doesn't think things through before she's talking. Yeah. And she needs to like talk through the tests and talk over them and like spew off everything she knows about the test, but she's going to fail, but she's not going to fail because she knows everything. She hopes she doesn't fail. Maybe she will.
Yeah.
And we get that a lot. We get that a lot in this book because they're prepping for the OWLs.
Yeah.
It does make sense. But just as a blanket statement for this whole book,
yeah,
there's large chunks of the book where Hermione is just
in a panic,
frustrating the heck out of everyone around her. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, girl, that is stressful.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of
those are important exams.
Yeah, those are the most relatable parts of her is the stress she gets with the exams. Oh, she does give Ron a kiss on the cheek before the match and wishes him good luck. You see, because that's happening, a big thing happening for Ron.
Yes. But makes me so frustrated. Small side tangent. The one time that Ron goes and wins the match.
Yeah.
And they're so proud. And none of them fucking see it. I'm dropping my F-bomb for Ron because it makes me so mad. This is now the second time in this damn book.
He doesn't get the...
Because that's in this book, isn't it?
Yeah, where they like leave to...
Yes.
It's gotta be in this book, right?
Yes, it's in this one because they go meet Guap. Yeah, they go meet him and they totally ditch him winning. Are you for real right now? Mm-hmm. Are you for real? This poor... And he doesnn't even know. Poor Ron doesn't even know, which is probably better, but it makes me more sad for him.
God.
Come on, guys. Support him.
Yeah.
Poor guy. This is all he's ever wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Oh, so sad.
Anyway, moving on with Hermione. Her continuing to make comments about Cho and be like, oh, she can't take your eyes off you. But like not in the cute way in the movie she says it. In the movie, I think is delivered really well.
Yes.
Where it's still that like bookish, she's stating a fact, but saying it in an excited way. Like she's thrilled for Harry.
Yeah.
In the book, it's reading very just...
blunt and kind of
why haven't you done this?
Yeah.
Which also leads back to maybe that's how she felt about Crumb. Was like, oh, this makes sense.
That's true. She is writing him still in this book. She writes him like a nice long letter and stuff. So we get like mentions of Victor.
I don't know if she is using it as just this is what you do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is like not. I feel bad for Victor, but on the flip side, maybe that's why she needs Ron because Ron is so different that like she can't just like logic her way through Ron, you know.
And we never get to know how she even feels about Victor in the 4 or 5. Really, we don't get to spend the time to actually get to know, which is frustrating. Like reading it, trying to understand Hermione, is we never did.
She
get
behaves
to see it.
differently about him in the books and the movies. In the books, sorry, this is like a backtrack to 4. But in the books, she is very much like when they are seen together, they are loving it. They are talking, they're laughing, they are dancing. They're engrossed in conversation anytime that they are seen alone together.
Yeah.
In the movies, she has that uncomfortable line of Crumb is a very physical person. And then they like uncomfortably laugh together, like her and Harry.
Yeah, it's not...
Which like...
It's not what he even liked about her. It was he liked her mind.
No.
And
he loved talking to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was kind of strange to me, too. Because, in the book, she does seem a little more cold, which is coming out how she's speaking to Harry about Cho as well.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still worried as we continue on. She's still worried that she'll be expelled. That's her biggest concern.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Get it, girl. Get it.
Yes. She was supposed to go. Oh, this is before that. She tries to warn Hagrid about not being dangerous with Umbridge around.
Doesn't work.
Nope. But she tries very hard.
She does. She tries desperately. And here's another one of those moments where she just like trusts Dumbledore incessantly.
Yes.
So Dobby takes them to when they decide on that they're going to have the meetings in the school and they need it to be really secret because of Umbridge. Dobby is like, oh, I know a place, and like takes them to the very sad place that he takes Winky when she's drunk. But the room of requirement. And he's like, this will be great. And Hermione's like, that's a stupid idea. And then I think it's Harry who's like, oh, well, Dumbledore was talking about it because like he had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And she's like, oh, Dumbledore said it? Great. Cool, we can go. I was like, what? You just had spit. And now you don't trust Dobby? Like what? Yep, just Dumbledore. Only Dumbledore.
Tracks.
Only Dumbledore. Okay. Yes.
She's supposed to spend Christmas skiing and then doesn't go.
She is.
To be with, the Weasleys and Arthur and everyone.
How on earth does her family feel?
I don't know.
Because she has now not seen them for like a year.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
There's a couple things that get weirder as it goes on where it's like she just like ditches her family entirely for a long time.
Yeah.
Instead of wanting to spend time with them, knowing that like a war is coming. And also like Crookshanks slowly becomes Ginny's cat and then slowly is just like forgotten.
Yeah, it served its purpose.
Also feels kind of forced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just.
Also, can you imagine her inviting her parents to the Weasleys for like a visit?
Oh my gosh. Arthur would implode. Arthur would just
it'd be amazing.
Pass away.
Yeah, it'd be so cool. Like, especially in later books, I feel like, you know, we can visit to see her.
You know, they've met each other because like eventually, I mean, they met each other a few times because like poor Arthur like takes them
aside and tries to
scurries them into the leaky cauldron while they get books for like hours. The poor people.
Yeah.
But, you know, like they obviously have some sort of friendship later.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they get married.
Yeah.
They've got to be on at least friend terms, especially. I don't know. It just feels to me like they're just conveniently being like, oh yeah, Hermione will just like ditch your family, which doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me.
Yeah.
To ditch them all the time. Like it made sense to me in the earlier books, especially where she was like, hey, I'm going home for Christmas with my parents or at the Easter holidays with my parents, you know, whatever. Get all this stuff done while I'm gone.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like she was gone long at all when she left. Like it wasn't a big deal. So I'm confused why they just went, she doesn't care about her parents or her cat or anything again.
Yeah. And she lies to her parents about why she's staying for Christmas. She doesn't say, hey, the Weasleys are hurt. I'm going to, you know, make sure I'm helping them out. I think she says she's staying to study and then takes the night bus to get to them. Why lie? Why?
Why lie? Why do you need to go there?
Yeah.
It's not like she was taken to the hospital. You know, like she went home to them and then was like, just kidding. Does she have that much FOMO?
Probably.
Like that much severe FOMO.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel bad for her parents. And like her, they're all she had for a long time.
Yeah.
If she was anything like this prior to Hogwarts, especially since we don't hear about any friends, you know? So it's like.
And we learn in book 7 that they've gone on a lot of trips together to different places. So all of a sudden it's just not happening. Yeah.
I just feel bad for them. And it just seems weird for Hermione and for how young she is, for her parents to just be like, yeah, do whatever you want. She's 15. Yeah. And you were like, yeah, get yourself to a wizarding world by yourself. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I was fine. Like, she didn't need to be there for Christmas.
Yeah.
Alas. And then we do get her continuing with what you had said with Hagrid and like really, like you can tell she really cares about Hagrid. She does spend a lot of time with him. She's trying to make him feel better after Umbridge was so terrible to him and everything. That helps a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. We do learn about the blackmailing in this book. We talked about it in the last one, but we learn about the blackmailing because we see Rita as a wreck at Hogsmeade for the meeting.
And that, like, as a kid, you're like, funny. Yeah. Like, as an adult, you're like, this woman, can she eat?
Yeah.
Like does she have a house to live in?
I got real concerned for
like,
Rita.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh, we learned her Patronus is an otter, which is real cute.
Yes. Specifically, it's an otter to be chased by the dog that Ron's is.
Well, that's cute. That's fun.
Because the type of dog that Ron is known to chase otters. So that is why that they have those.
Well, that's good. Some thought was put into that. That's nice. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. We also get a little bit, which is a little frustrating. I know we've been going back and forth on things that are frustrating and things that are positive. One of the things that starts off as like, I get it, but then it gets frustrating very quickly because, and maybe now that we're talking about it, maybe she doesn't know her friends as well or trust them as well, which is a bummer. I want her to. But you have in this book starting a lot is the occlumency for Harry.
Yes.
And she is zero help. First of all, she can't even do it herself.
No.
And is just assuming that Harry, why haven't you perfected it already? Like, just like close your mind. Like, you went to Snape's class once. Like, how is it not just like figured out? And she just continuously nags him.
So much.
Not does things like, hey, because clearly he needs to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing he wants to do is he wants to tell Ron and Hermione and like get it out.
Yeah.
And instead of her being like, okay, like let's talk it out and then take it that next step further of, can you see why this is dangerous?
Yeah.
Or like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but no, it's straight up, I don't want to hear it. He's in your mind. Kick him out. Why haven't you should just have mastered this already.
The constant nagging of him not practicing, which is probably not a real easy thing to do by yourself in general.
No.
It continues for like the last 3 books. It doesn't let up.
Yes.
It's so annoying.
It's not like I'm concerned for your safety.
No.
Like taking it from a sweet, endearing, like, hey, I'm worried about you. How can we get Snape to agree? Is there anybody else that we can get to? Like, how do I help? No, it's just nag.
Yeah.
Which is someone who's written as a feminist. Why have you given her all of these typical traits that men mock women for?
Yep. Yeah.
That men mock strong women for.
You're not helping at all.
Yeah. That gets frustrating, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot through the end of this.
Yeah. Oh, and some her other like things that get her in trouble from annoyingness or rude talking is she does I will say she thinks quick-ish when she tricks Umbridge into going to the forest. When they get captured.
She does not think quick. She thinks like a Gryffindor.
Well, she takes her to the centaurs.
She does not consider any of the situation. She was hoping that she would take them to... Yeah. She was taking her to Grop and hoping the centaurs would save her.
That was the quick thought. It wasn't great.
After she spent this whole year calling him a horseman.
Yeah.
So she had a thought fast.
Yeah, she had
then was shocked that it didn't work.
And then she ruins
I'm like, girl, you have never made a quick plan that worked.
Yeah.
Like, it never.
And they almost get captured too because she have her mouth.
Almost get killed.
I'm just like,
be quiet. What are you doing? Anything? Play off of Harry right now.
Yeah.
You know Harry has experience with centaurs.
Yep.
You just said you don't like horses. About the one who Dumbledore saved and put in the school. So like, don't care about him for the elves.
The quick thought of getting rid of her does technically work. But
not the way she intended. She's surprised by it.
Yeah.
I'm like, when have your get rich quick schemes?
Yeah.
When have they worked?
Yeah.
Your long term, I've had months to plan it. Brilliant A+.
Yeah.
Queen.
Yeah.
Girl boss. But these in the moment, girl.
Yeah, she was lucky on that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's truly lucky because they could have died.
Yep.
It seemed very much like, let's get Umbridge's comeuppance.
Yeah.
Be rude to the centaurs and they will go and deal with her.
Yeah.
She has thoughts quickly, whether or not they are good.
She's lucky that one kind of worked, but then she ruined it herself with the rude talking to the centaurs. So
I don't know why she's always the first one to be like, I can control the situation. Like, no, delegate, read the room.
Yeah.
But no, that's her thing. That's her thing. She doesn't read the room.
It's true.
It's just,
yeah.
I want to end this book on a high note, though, but I'm trying to find one for her.
I mean, she does make a
one.
couple great saves at the Ministry. She does get knocked out pretty quickly, which did make me feel like the author needed to knock her out because she would have had more spells. So like that.
She has the biggest library of spells, second to Harry in this situation.
Yes,
which still is impressive.
And she gets like knocked on her butt in this fight because they say she has to take 10 types of potions a day to improve. I was like, ooh,
yeah,
what happened to you?
Luna, who was hit by significantly more Death Eaters, was like, fine,
bounce back, ready to go.
Wow, girl, wow.
Yeah, that's not really a great high note because she kind of gets knocked out and then is recovering at the end of it.
Yeah. I just trying.
It made me laugh when Guap called her Hermie. That made me laugh.
So close.
Yeah, it's a hard one, you know?
After, she's calling him a big, scary savage and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, I tried. I tried.
I'm so sorry. There's just these things where I'm like, parts of her are so great. And I'm like, why are you contradicting yourself all the time? Like, she has enough flaws. We don't need to give her more. It's okay.
Yeah. It's okay for her to be likable for like a second.
Yeah. And a lot of her likable moments were at the beginning of this book.
Yeah.
I think.
That's true.
Now, this book, I will say.
Yes.
Moving out of the 6th book, they are all teenagers.
Yes,
they
are.
16-year-old. There's lots of emotions, a lot of stuff's going on. I do understand for a lot of people this book is not their favorite because there's a lot of angst. There's a lot of teenage angst.
So many angst.
For me, I don't mind it because when you read it, thinking that they are 16, it makes perfect sense.
It does.
So I just wanted to preface that.
I will say I was less bothered. I actually really enjoyed book 6, especially because 5 was kind of a hard, darker trudge through stuff.
Umbridge is terrifying.
Yes, yeah. So this book, I did enjoy some of the teenage ridiculousness of it.
Yeah.
Like that was nice. It's a good time.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to have that. And you have a little bit of this like weird gossipy side of Hermione that like comes up for no reason.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this book where she's like, first she wants to talk to Harry about Sirius and he like clearly doesn't want to. And then she's like talking to Ron about Harry, but it's like, don't tell him.
Yes.
And he's like, screw that. And like immediately tells Harry.
Yep. Yep.
So that gossipy is like a little strange. And then we get the Fleur hate.
We do get Fleur hate.
We talked about in Fleur's episode, so I don't know how much we want to go into this, but I guess as a statement,
no reason.
It's confusing for all.
Yeah. It's really just hate for no reason, combined with hate from Jenny and Molly for no reason. That it's really frustrating.
It's just unnecessary women on women hate.
Yeah,
for someone who you could look up to.
A really cool heroine in the book, but
strong, like easily one of our favorites to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't understand. It's just we did talk about that heavily in her episode.
Yes.
If you haven't watched that, check out the episode with Fleur. Just to not repeat ourselves.
Yeah, we go a pretty big rant, so you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. What a big ally that you are just tossing to the wind.
She does. This is the continuation of book 6 of the inner thought monologues for other people, where Tonks specifically. This is a lot of the like, this is how Tonks feels. After she doesn't know. Like,
because you're also wrong. You're also wrong. Everyone's wrong.
Yeah. But I just want to see, I want people to talk for themselves. And instead they give Hermione these monologues for other people. And it just annoys me. Yeah.
I agree. Because it also just feels out of character.
Yeah.
I do like that she is humbled a touch. And it's a really cute moment where she gets her owls. She got O's and everything but one. And Ron's like, you're upset.
Yeah.
You're upset about that one E.
Yep.
Which is still, E is like the
really
second
good.
best you can get.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're upset about that, are you? And she like just sits there in silence.
Yep.
And Ron's like,
Yep. Couldn't hit. She had to get 10. She wanted those 10 O's. And
yes. Her also being excited for Harry to be a Quidditch captain.
Yeah.
But not because he's a Quidditch captain. Not because he would like that. But because he gets all the benefits of being a prefect.
That's right. The priorities,
She's like, we get to share a bathroom.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Yay. It is revealed that she's dreadful at Quidditch because doesn't she play with them like in the yard at the Burrow or something?
It's revealed pretty early on that she's like terrible on a broom, and then it just like gets worse.
Yeah, that's what
she's like terrible. Like playing, like she's already terrible on the broom, and then like give her things to do on the broom, and it's like absolutely not.
Yeah.
So like them putting her on a team and like even each other out was super fun.
Yeah.
And this is also something that I do appreciate about her that she grows into a bit. Is that and this is another thing where it's like they like lumped her and Molly together.
Yeah.
Regardless, I do still enjoy it. She starts to appreciate the twins' magic.
Yeah.
Because it's impressive.
So impressive.
And she's starting to be like, all right. Yeah. Like this is, You're
creating new things. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. And I do like that they turn the tide for her a bit. Because I think that, she never says she's wrong, but it still was ever wrong about them, but still does appreciate their magic, which I'm glad. She's going a little bit.
Yeah. Can we discuss the absolutely horrible lies she tries to use to get Borgin to tell her about
this is like nobody cares. Like why is she the face person?
She goes,
get Jenny. What are we doing? We left her
after Draco leaves. Like she gives it 10 seconds and then goes in. It's like, can you tell me about this stuff?
Like what? Read the room. I was not surprised by her not. And that was another one of those moments that I didn't mind as much because I'm like, this isn't going to work.
It's so bad. Just the fact that it was 10 seconds later, I just lost. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Yeah,
if you would have taken a second to think
impulse,
through.
The Gryffindor impulse.
Yeah.
Control.
It was so bad. And she she just crashed and burned. And it was actually very funny to read.
Immediately.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep.
And then just like immediately just bickering with Ron.
Yes.
About it. Like she's so angry and just like takes it out of Ron.
Yep. 100%.
This also cracks me up. So Harry throughout this whole book is like, Malfoy's a Death Eater.
Yeah.
Which when you think about it is very funny. It's very funny because this is the only book that Malfoy is not spending his time mocking Harry and his friends.
Yeah.
And Harry's first reaction is he must be a Death Eater.
Yes.
And the best part of that is he's right.
Yes, I love it so. It's so good.
So funny. It's like it like shouldn't be funny, but it's a like perfect combination of like teenage angst.
Yeah.
And like
everyone else being like, what are you saying? Picture. And he's like, yeah, he's totally just... And we know because of the first scene. Like from the first scene, we know he's right.
Not spent right. And Harry's like, guys, he's not like making me feel like shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like
something is wrong.
Like, see, he's not like following us around and like calling Hermione a mudblood. Like he's a Death Eater.
Yeah, yeah.
And Hermione is like so absolutely so against it.
Yes.
Like he cannot be a Death Eater.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
No way.
His dad just was and went to Azkaban. Isn't that like enough for him to join it? Like
you also like Narcissa just like caused Sirius's death because she got all the information from Creature and then told Creature a plan to facilitate the Ministry of Magic.
Yes.
Literally months ago.
Yes.
Ma'am.
So
like regardless of if Narcissa, which you do not know, like she does not know that Narcissa is not a Death Eater.
Yeah.
Their family is knee deep in it.
Yeah. Like that's not out of the ordinary.
They're literally drowning.
Yeah. That wouldn't be so far fetched to even think about. You know?
Yeah. So it just cracks me up that she's like, absolutely not. And he's like, no. And it sounds so chaotic. Like my mortal enemy is not making fun of me anymore. Like,
yeah, it's
he's a Death Eater.
He must be a Death Eater.
So like from Hermione's perspective, if I was hearing that from Harry, I also would be like, are you a lunatic?
Yeah, are you okay? I get that like things are stressful.
But Draco is not that much all over you.
Yeah.
Like it's
that's funny.
So yeah, that does crack me up a bit. She does try to, this also happens a little bit in the last book, but more so in this book. She often tries to have very private conversations in a very public location. Like often her FOMO is so strong in this book where she's like, just like tell me right now. And Harry's like, it is literally not the time.
Yeah.
Like, can you wait 1 hour?
Yeah. Can we just not be here, please?
Yeah. Can we not be in front of the entire school?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. What?
Yep.
That didn't bother me too much either. It just like seemed kind of funny that she's just such like the FOMO is so strong with her. She's like, well, like tell me right now.
Yes. So fixated on that.
I also think it's cute that she ends up giving the confiscated frisbee to Ron.
Yeah,
like,
that's really sweet.
Yeah, I like part of it I think is because like, which is still very funny to me. Like Ron obviously wanted it, but she was still holding it, and then Lavender was like, like did that like cute giggle at Ron.
Yeah.
When they had the fiasco with the frisbee.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks that she like in a little petty way was like me more. Here's the frisbee.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Which is very cute, funny teenage angst.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. I do also enjoy the like rivalry of Hermione versus Harry in potions class because of the book.
I don't,
you don't?
Actually.
Okay, tell me why you don't.
I really dislike it. So this is something that I mentioned earlier where she does not like her friends to succeed.
That's fair.
And that's why I don't like this. She gets so outrageously angry that Harry wins and is like, it cannot possibly be because you're good at this. Is her first reaction. And Harry comes clean immediately.
Yeah.
Like, because he trusts his friends. He's like, this is this book.
Yeah.
It's super cool. Ron's like, cool. Moves on. Like Ron doesn't even ask to like borrow it, which of all of them, like he would need that the most likely for his potion skills, you know?
Yeah.
I understand being wary of the book, but her just being so angry, like he later like outwits everybody and uses the Bezoar.
Yes.
And she's terrible at potions. She's terrible at regular potions.
Yeah.
The only reason that they've all been so good, and she's been specifically so good at it, is because Snape taught the classes.
Yeah.
Snape was the one. And there are very few, the only times he mentions like 10 to 5 or 9 4, like that's all in the Defense Against Dark Arts class.
Yeah.
In potions, he
tells you the best
everything
way
down from the board.
Yeah.
Because he's a very talented potions maker.
Yeah.
So she is too by the book, she's not, you know, I imagine her also not being a very good cook.
Oh yeah. If it, yeah. Maybe baking,
it's like
baking like.
Baking needs to be a science.
Yeah,
so she probably is good at that.
Yeah.
But like creative, like I'm gonna whip something up. I don't think that's something she can do.
Yeah.
So I didn't like not that there was this little rivalry that Harry was not interested in.
Yeah.
That didn't bother me. It was that she was so angry that he was succeeding.
That I don't like.
And there's no way he could be succeeding without the prince.
Yeah.
Because she's just better than him at everything.
Yeah.
Like, it takes her a lot. And she's really mad about it when she's like, well, Harry scores better than me every year at
Defense
Against Dark Arts.
Yeah.
And she's like mad about it. And I'm like, girl, you can't celebrate your friends' successes. So not only do they constantly avoid Ron's successes, but now she's also not celebrating Harry's successes. And in the movie, it's very fun.
Yeah.
In the movie, it's very funny. It's very silly. I think it's played very well where you get that little bit of her frustration without it being she dislikes Harry.
Yes.
I mean, it literally gets to the point where she tells Harry, she's like, well, the prince could be a girl. You just think it's a boy because you don't think a woman could be smart enough to do it. Excuse you? Do you even know Harry?
Yeah.
Do you even know him?
And how supportive he is of all the women in his life.
Yes. Yes. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, he's more Semitic. I'm so angry right now.
Yeah.
He is more supportive of more women in this series than you are, Hermione.
Yes,
and you're telling him that it can't possibly be women because he doesn't think women are strong.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's what gets me frustrated.
That's
about
fair.
it. In the movie, it's handled really well and it's super funny.
Yeah.
In the books, are you even their friend?
Yeah, we did talk about this last time, and I agree that any kind that she's mad at Harry for succeeding is really frustrating. What I think could have been funnier if she had not taken it the step farther, and what they did in the movies, I think they did capture, is the fact that it's like her book versus the cheating book.
Yes.
Like that she's like so determined. Why didn't she just look at it? Why didn't she look at it and see what is going on? Instead, she's like, no, I'm doing it by the book.
Yes.
And that's really
that was funny.
That
That played super, super well in the movie. And I really, really enjoyed it. And it still gives her that great flaw of like, I'm doing this right.
Yeah.
Even in the book, the moment where she's like so frazzled because she had like put like 37 ingredients or something atrociously high into her cauldron, including like a chunk of her own hair, and like it didn't work. And like Harry used the Bezoar. Those moments all could have happened with a little bit less of no, you can't do that.
I agree.
Like, you literally can't do that if you didn't have help.
Yeah.
You are not smart enough. Like, whoa.
Yeah, that hate needs
Harry
to...
clearly is learning something because this book does change him a lot, and he does use a ton of stuff from the book throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah. Why she doesn't try and take a peek at it and understand why things are better in the book. Like, I don't know.
She's just so angry that it's better at, like, Ron's right. Ron's like, you're just mad because the prince is better at potions than you.
Yeah, that's true. It's really her versus the prince at that point.
Yeah, because she immediately jumps on Ginny's comment when she's like, oh yeah, the book could be a bad. Casts a spell on it immediately and nothing. It's nothing. It's just a book.
Just a book.
She is, as always, thrilled when she gets compliments, and especially when teachers compliment her. So when Slughorn, Slughorn later, I mean, Slughorn's so interesting to me because I think he truly has a gift for like seeing people,
like potential,
and like finding the good ones. Yes, he like. You know, he's a little inconsiderate about everybody who's not potential, but like he really has a skill. And Hermione is added to the Slug Club after he's seen her in potions.
Yeah.
So he's seen her super frustrated, mad at Harry, having outbursts at Harry during class, and still can see how good she is.
Yes.
And how talented and how intelligent she is, and goes, I need to collect her. She's going to go somewhere. I did enjoy that. And that is very, I don't know, that may say more about Slughorn, that he can see past all the nonsense in the class, that he's like, she's going to be something someday.
Yeah.
But she does get inducted into the Slug Club.
Yeah.
Which she very much enjoys. And she deserves a place.
She does. Yeah.
A place there.
Yeah. Yeah. I really did enjoy that she was included in that. She is very intelligent and is a very impressive witch. So I was happy that she wasn't passed over for that.
And she's very excited about it. She does enjoy going. You have little moments of her continuing to like spend time with just Ron at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny when she's like, I'll wait with you, Ron, while like Harry has his lesson with Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Who else are you gonna wait with?
Yeah. Like, party? You broke that bridge. Like,
but I do like that she reaches out because Ron has other places that he could go.
Yes.
And I do like that she's like trying to bridge that gap of like, let's continue. Not that there's a gap there, but she's like trying to get him alone more and more. Their feelings are getting a little higher.
Yeah. Yeah, this is when we're going to get to the height of the tension between Ron and Hermione, because he starts dating Lavender, and she was gonna invite him to the Slughorn party, and then she does it, and then she has a horrible time at the holiday party with Cormac.
With Cormac. That in the movie was a beautifully portrayed.
It was great.
It was really excellently portrayed.
Yeah.
I love how flustered she was. This was like the I girl boss too close to the sun moment. Like it's just she does get very cold to like before they even date. Like immediately.
Yeah.
She's really cold about Lavender when Lavender shows like any interest in Ron, which like also you live with her.
Mm-hmm.
You must have heard her saying things.
Yeah, you had to have heard that she was interested. This can't be new.
Right. Still could be a little frustrated about it, but like, I don't know, that could have been handled a little better, but I didn't mind the angst of her having this little rivalry with her leading up to it. She does successfully lie to Hagrid.
Yeah.
He's still really bummed about it, but she does. Hagrid is one of the only people she can consistently manipulate, not necessarily in a bad way, because she does truly like care about his feelings.
Yeah, like white lies to save his feelings of things, and
yeah, and then asks if there's anything she could do to help Aragog, and then immediately is like, "Why on earth would he ask us to come to his funeral?"
Yep.
Ma'am, you volunteered.
You did.
You volunteered yourself. I am so confused.
Yep.
I do also like leading up to the Cormac and Lavender situation that she confunds Cormac to get Ron on the team. And as far as we know, in the books, they never tell him. And I think Harry is right. I think she does need to tell him.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have any faith in his abilities.
Yeah.
And says that further when Harry pretends to give him the liquid luck. And I just feel bad for Ron.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't know that you've manipulated the situation, and Ron tried to take himself off the team so many times in book 5 because he's like, I can't do it. Angelina fought with him to be like, yes, you can.
Yep.
And now subconsciously undoing all of that work that Angelina
it's breaking him down little by little,
which is what kind of pushes him away, because now he has this liquid luck, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna do terrible if you don't. What she insinuates is like there's no way he'd do well without
it.
The liquid luck. And then they win. And the first person to him when he wins the match and helps win the match for them is Lavender. Because she has been rooting with him since tryouts. She's been there since tryouts. Cheering you on, saying you'll be great.
Being supportive.
She didn't manipulate the situations. She's just been there. And she shot her shot. She took her shot. She did.
She did.
Do understand her being upset about it.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to see their crush with somebody else.
Yeah.
So that all felt very organic and very real. Her upset. I enjoyed how they portrayed it in the movie of her being upset.
Yeah.
This angst all made perfect sense. I was not upset by any of it. It just was like you could see the train wreck coming, you know?
Yes. And it's her sending a swarm of birds to attack him. Is what everyone wishes
and
they
not
could.
Even like
it's
real birds.
No, just like which is impressive
manipulated,
magic,
transfigured.
But it just like it was a really good visual and visceral representation of the angst that I just love. That she just throws like swarm of birds at him to attack him.
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. And I did enjoy that they added in the movies, and this is something that I would have liked to see in the book as well. Because we get a little bit in the book that she's kind of like, she's caught on to Harry being interested in Ginny.
Yeah.
But in the movie, she makes the comment. She's like, is this what it feels like when you see Ginny with Dean?
Yeah.
And that's not something she says in the book, more insinuated. And I do really appreciate that, because they both really have a really platonic moment of like, this freaking sucks.
Yeah, this sucks.
This is the worst. Like, and they kind of like have that together in a very platonic way.
Yeah.
I just like the line that they gave her in the movie, because I think it ties it together really nicely for both of them, because they both need each other for that. And then ensues the nonsense of like them dealing with Ron in a relationship. Yeah. And both of them dealing with Ron in a relationship.
And then she does talk to Parvati very kindly in the book, because Parvati's a little tired of the whole Ron and Lavender show. So you do have a moment.
Yes. And that's also Parvati offering the olive branch, because Ron was just super, Hermione started it. Hermione laughed really hard at something Ron had done poorly in class, which she shouldn't have done. And then he obviously took it a step further, because we all know when it comes to offhanded, snarky comments, he's the best at it, which makes him very mean sometimes. Yes. And this was one of those moments where he won that and she like left the room crying. And like at the next meal, Parvati immediately is like, hey, are you going to the ball? Like, what's going on? What, like,
going to the Christmas party? And
jumps right in. But it's more of a show of like, yes, I'm taking Cormac. I only date good Quidditch players.
Yep.
Girl.
Yeah. Which felt very teenagery too. That like really biting revenge scheme. I'm gonna take Cormac.
Yes.
Teenage angst. So I still like that.
Before they got I still liked it. I still liked it very much. I also really enjoyed, which was such a cute little scene that is super underrated that I don't think made it into the movies, is they're in herbology and they're like bickering.
Yes.
And he's like, and like, classic, they're bickering. And at one point, Hermione makes this like offhand comment. She's like, well, I was going to ask you to the Slughorn's dance or to Slughorn's party.
Yeah.
And then Ron's like just like puppy dog, like,
what?
You were? Me? And then they get like really cute after.
Yes.
It's like she almost got
so
him.
Close. Yeah.
But then there was there was just like the train just rolling out the tracks because you had Ginny telling Ron off, and Ron is now, every time he sees Hermione, he's like furious. He's furious that Harry has been with people. He's furious that Hermione, who he's interested in, has been with people, that everyone's been with people and he hasn't. So he's going through things that she like actively avoids him for a bit. Yeah. Because he's so frustrated. And I get it. I get it, girl. Like I wouldn't want to be around him either. Yeah. And then like we mentioned before, her getting upset about the liquid luck. Yeah. And those two things compiled together is just like angry on both sides, feelings on both sides, frustration on both sides. Lavender's like, this is my time. This is my time.
She tries. And if you want to hear about that relationship, that's in the Students of Hogwarts episode.
Yes. Yeah. Skipping over all of that. Yeah. She does continue to diss the Draco theory. Yes. That is not right. Yes. They're avoiding each other. Ron and Hermione avoid each other a lot. Understandable. She does get upset sometimes, which I also totally understand, when the library fails her. She cannot find anything about Horcruxes, and she's super upset about it. I think she has a right to.
She's
was
like,
this is where all my answers come from.
The library has betrayed her and given her nothing. Like, that's really a hard moment for her.
Another moment where it's like, I don't know if this is like a reading the room or if this is like taking information and processing a thing. But she is the first person to mention that once Ron gets poisoned and that's all settled and they're in the hospital, she mentions that the poisoner must not know Slughorn very well, because obviously he would keep something that good for himself, which he did. Yeah. He was intending to give that to Dumbledore and had not. I don't know if that's her like acknowledging the situation or if it's her reading people. I'm not sure, but that is said.
Yeah, it's a good insight.
When Lavender and Ron do fall apart.
Yes. Yeah.
Which they do. She is absolutely thrilled. I do like that she does keep her distance from Lavender. I did appreciate that, because even though she is very thrilled that they are not dating, she does avoid Lavender.
She's not like rubbing it in. Like, she's not trying to.
Yes. Yes. She very much is. She sees Lavender upset and she like steps away from Ron. Yeah. Which I did appreciate. Yeah. Because we don't really see her doing that kind of stuff to consider, especially other girls' feelings. Yeah. Up until this point. So I did it. And like,
and
we're looking around.
Unlike Ginny and Cho, that rivalry never comes up again.
Yes.
So like that's it's all like it all seemed to just move on. Everyone seemed to move forward with their lives, which was nice.
Quick, fun whirlwind. Yeah. That was one of the most relatable high school relationships in the series. Yeah. So everyone is winded by the end of it. Yeah. like Hermione and Harry included. Parvati. So that does make a lot of sense. Yeah. We mentioned that she apparates successfully twice during the first lesson. She passes her test on the first try. She does continue to do things with Harry that I'm a little bit frustrated with. Like when Harry goes off to chase down Malfoy, she like demands to know where he's going. Yeah. When Creature and Dobby appear in front of Harry, she demands to know what's going on. There's a lot of times where she keeps demanding that Harry specifically tell her things when she never lets them in on anything. And some of this stuff, Harry going after Malfoy, is not a secret. Like he's been telling you for months.
forever
that this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
You can't tell him, no, you're not the boss of him.
Yeah.
I don't know how I just don't know how I feel about her trying to micromanage the boys.
Yeah, it plays into
she also
the,
needs to know everything they do.
It plays into the nag stereotype that I don't like.
Yeah.
That she doesn't need. You know, she can be a know-it-all, but she doesn't need to be a nag.
Yes. And I don't know how to phrase this. I dislike that I like how you phrase that.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. You said that so perfectly, and I hate that that's a thing.
That's the descriptors we get of Hermione.
Yes, that they've given her a nag stereotype. I really dislike that.
Yeah.
I think,
Because
because you're spot on.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, they did that. I mean, they did it with Molly too. You know, like by the end of these books, like the end books, that's kind of the role that a lot of the women play, which is not progressive.
And we don't need stereotypes.
Good.
We have so much of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the nagging
right.
doesn't end up gaining anything other than air quotes comedy. Like it doesn't add like it doesn't actually add to anything happening because of it. Like so it's not a plot device.
Harry's already feeling that stress and tension.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need her to add to it.
Yeah. So it really feels like just a use of a stereotype for no gain, which is frustrating.
Yeah. And speaking of frustrating, before, because I think there's like a very
we're towards the end of this book.
Yeah. Jump into the meat.
Yeah.
But the last big frustrating thing that she does that I really dislike, I super dislike, and same exactly like you said, it does not further the plot. I don't know why it's here. After Harry almost kills Malfoy.
Yep.
Now that is, first of all, traumatic for literally everyone involved. It is traumatic for Harry. Malfoy gets minimal scarring after that. All over his body.
Yep.
He has contusions all over his body. And if Snape hadn't gotten there, he would have died within under a minute.
Yep.
It's mortifying for Snape because
he knows
Snape's walked in and he knows the spell, and he has been spending this whole year trying desperately to help and keep this boy alive. And he's going to die at his own hand from his own spell. And then you have Myrtle and who's like, she's mortified because she's found like kinship in how like Draco has been feeling in this room with her. And now they've all been literally traumatized. And you're going to come up to Harry, and the first thing you're going to say to him is, I told you so. Are you not kidding me?
Are you okay? Is Draco okay? Is everything okay?
Like, Harry knows. Harry knows that it's not okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to rub it in. He feels absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And the I told you so moment, it was so inappropriate at that traumatic stage. And then she also has another I told you so moment with the Eileen Prince thing by the end of it. Like, and I'm like,
which still wasn't right.
I know.
She was like, see, it was Eileen Prince. Like, no, it wasn't. It was Snape.
Yeah. Like, but I was right because Eileen Prince is his mom.
No, unnecessary. Like, they just.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. We do find out in this book that she did have the conversation with Ginny.
Yes.
About at some point in the past, probably book 4-ish, she did have the conversation with Ginny about Harry, which seems a little not something Hermione would say. People mature.
Yes,
like
yes.
Yeah, like, which is not something that she particularly is.
Yeah.
So in that moment, so I don't know. I do appreciate that she's like talking with Ginny.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she like read that somewhere and then was like, you should do this. And then like she takes her own advice and goes with Crumb.
Yeah.
Not super confident there, but it is nice that she did talk to Ginny.
Yeah.
They've established this like kind of friendship-ish at least.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And you see her falling into, which this is such a sad moment, but I do still like it. At Dumbledore's funeral, she is obviously overwhelmed. She has always been a crier. Yeah. Which I do appreciate about her.
Yeah. You're allowed to have some criers. Yeah.
I like that she, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, falls into Ron.
Yeah.
And Ron does not hold back. He holds her entirely. Yeah. While she cries into his shoulder at the funeral. And I did really think that was a sweet moment, that it's like when push comes to shove and in these really tragic, terrifying moments that she picks Ron.
Yes.
And Ron picks her.
Yeah, you kind of see after all the chaos of this book with the relationship stuff that like it sink into place.
Yes.
It's nice to see that.
They're not like together.
No, but
they're definitely not together, but you see them be a little more confident. You see another push comes to shove moment that I love in the books.
Yeah.
Is when she's screaming for Ron.
Yeah.
At the wedding.
Yeah.
When it gets attacked and she is screaming for him because he's not there yet. And she is so scared to leave without him.
Yeah.
And I think that was her true feelings.
Yeah.
Unconsciously pouring out of her. And I did really love that. I was like, you love Ron.
Yeah.
You guys truly loved each other before you started dating.
Yeah.
And like you loved each other as friends too.
Yeah.
But like it changed years before you guys got together.
Yeah.
And I think that is really cool.
Yeah. And you kind of get to see the start of their intimacy begin, like maturing intimacy begin with the end of this book in the comfort. And it is really nice at the end of book 6, you have them very determined to continue with Harry and not really taking no for an answer. And I do appreciate that.
Yes.
Seeing that there's more important things to deal with than coming back to school. And I love that those two are very determined to convince Harry to not do this by himself. So that's a really great ending to book 6 with the trio.
They're not letting him go by himself.
Yeah.
They've been in it this long and
they're in it now.
Speaking of being in this long, thank you guys. Yeah. We're in it now.
Yeah.
We are in the home stretch. We are into officially
book 7. Yep.
Book 7 is so interesting to start because every other book, Hermione specifically, is her biggest concern is like passing her exams. That's her biggest, not getting expelled.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we see her at the beginning of a story where her biggest concern is saving the world.
Yeah. Like
she chooses to not go to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah. Like it's a huge shift for her. And that's, we started the Hermione episodes, part 1, you started talking about her having the biggest change. And I think she has huge leaps in the early books, and 6 to 7 was a huge like growing up moment for her of priority shifting and taking on something. And her long-term planning comes in so usefully. It's so
they would have
good.
died 1,000 times over.
So many times.
Like this is the her packing this bag is literally the epitome of how good she is at long-term thinking.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that they included that because it's brilliant.
It's so good.
It's brilliant. It made perfect sense. She planned for literally everything. I loved in the movie, since they had to shorten it up and make it short and sweet and make it seem like she's been doing this for weeks, because in the books, she's casually doing this all the time. And nobody questions her. They're like, that's not weird that she's like sorting books to shove in a bag. Like, that's normal.
Yep.
You know? Whereas in the movie, I think it was really endearing where she like reached in and like, oh, that'll be the books. And you hear like a bookshelf like literally fall over. I think that was a really cute way to wrap up literally weeks of her picking stuff off Ron, and Ron's like, that's kind of weird, but like, I guess whatever. She literally makes comments of like, oh, sorry, Ron, I had to like wait for your mom to finish the laundry of your underwear, so mortifying poor Ron. Wow. But like they know she's prepping, but I don't think they realized to the extent she was prepping, and she saved their lives 1,000 times over. And I love that for her.
I love that.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was a little frustrating to think about like Harry and Ron not doing any prep to like escape. I don't know. It just felt like there was like no real prep at all for like saving the world.
It's like they weren't thinking about that picture. And especially you have Harry, who's also trying to keep Molly happy.
Yeah.
And is doing all these things. And Harry mentally has the heaviest load.
For sure.
So he's going through all that in his head. And he doesn't have belongings.
No.
He doesn't have anything. He doesn't own anything.
Yeah.
And he lost almost all of it.
Yeah.
He loses.
Oh, yeah, in the transfer.
He loses his broom. He loses in the transfer.
Yeah.
He literally comes with like a backpack is what he's able to salvage from that disaster. So in his defense, he has nothing to pack.
Yeah.
He literally, like, she can throw his whole backpack and that's all of his belongings into that. I'm sure she had the foresight to like look around Percy's old clothes or anybody's old clothes to like pack more things for Harry because he truly had nothing. And Ron, I'm sure, was just Ron.
Yeah.
Being like, we're doing this and I'm here for everyone.
Yeah, unless someone gives him a task. It's,
Yes. You give him something to do.
Yeah.
he will do it.
Yeah.
He will be there for you. But if you don't explicitly tell him,
Yep.
I don't think it will happen, friends.
Yep. Yep.
But thanks, Hermione, for all of that. Yeah, definitely the beginning of the book is a lot of like them running around because they have the wedding and all that. I do think it's really endearing that at his birthday, it gets crashed by at the time, the Minister of Magic, who is no longer Fudge. Yes. And she receives the Tales of the Beetle of the Bard. And this is another one of those moments that I really loved. Every time it's brought up, I really, really like it. Because on the flip side, she didn't read any of these books. Yeah. And like, I feel like she may have. But I do appreciate that she didn't. Yeah. Because it reminds everybody that she is Muggle-born. Yeah. And I think that's so cool because it adds so much to it. Dumbledore knew she would be the one to figure it out. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And like giving her that book was so clever. And like Ron constantly reminding, I love all the times he's like, oh, Mom said it like this. Like, like in being like, because it's a fairy tale. It's like if somebody didn't know who Cinderella was. Yeah. It's really cute. It was really charming. And I think that's every time it's brought up, I really, really enjoy it. It is revealed that she modifies her parents' memories, which is a traumatic thing to have to do, to think through that. She does have a plan to get out of it. Yeah. Yeah. We do learn very early on, which I think almost discredits what she does. Because we learn all the way in book 4 that memory charms, if you know what you're doing, can be modified and or removed very easily. Yeah. The only reason it was hard was because Brother Dorkins had 1,000 memory charms on her. Yes. So, and I'm almost frustrated about that because it would have been more powerful. Like, don't get me wrong, I want her to go home and like live with her family. Yeah. It'd be great. Yeah. But it would have been more powerful to be like, she will never see them again. Yeah, it would have been so dramatic. Kind of set up in the movie. It is. You don't get the movie. It is. You don't know. Yeah. In the movies, they never mention that she can change memory modification charms can just be removed. Yeah. It is very powerful in the movie, whereas in the books, it's like, no, this is logical. They're sent to Australia and she will go back and fix it. And that's what she does. And it's very like well planned out and it seems a little more methodical. So I think it kind of discredits her a little bit. Yeah. And it could have been that big traumatic, like, I've done this and I've made this terrible, but right decision. Yeah. I've chosen to save them and not get to... Yeah. It's in the movies, it is set up so much more dramatically. Like she won't exist to them anymore ever, and she'll lose that part of herself forever, and that's so sad. But you're right. In the book, it's very much like the plan is this: they're gonna go to Australia. I'm gonna go get them when we come back, and if I don't come back, then they never will mourn me, which is sad. Like that's a sad thought. So it's still a very, very brave thing to do, to lose that contact for the time being. But even though she's been staying away from them for the past 2 years. How much time has she spent with them anyway? which does like, and if we knew that memory charms were a lot harder to reverse, the fact that she visits so many of the camping grounds and the places that her parents went to would be so much harsher to like at my heart. Yes. You know? Whereas this is like reminding, you know, when we're all over, when this is all over, I'll be back here with my parents. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to discredit her thoughts to save them. Oh, yeah, that's great. Was brilliant and very smart. Yeah. It's just, I think she was robbed of that full, like, the drama. Could this be modified? Yeah. And then maybe at the end we hear there is a way she didn't know. It will take some time, but you know, whatever. She does do that, and she does that really early in the books, just like the movies. By the time she gets to the wedding, that's already been done. Yeah. She handles crumbing at the wedding very well. She does. Very well. Yeah. That's nice. It makes it feel like it was like a just kind of fading away type of a pen pal situation. Yes. You know? But she's a little more confident in Ron. She's a little more confident with Ron. Yes. And speaking of more confident with Ron, do you mind if we talk about the decline of Ron? Because I think that does relate heavily to Hermione. Because we start this book very strong, and the end of the last book very strong, with she and Ron kind of have this unspoken thing. Yeah. That also Harry does not want to bring up because he's like, we are not opening that can of worms. We have more important things to do with right now. Yes. I think it's so cool, the decline of Ron. Yeah. Where the Horcrux understandably affects him the most. Yes. In this moment of time, in book 7, Ron has the most to lose. Yes, he does. Everyone. He truly has the most to lose. He has the family members, and not the not just the amount of family members. But almost every single one of them is in mortal peril on purpose, choosing to save the day, whether it be with the Order of the Phoenix that is being destroyed one by one, or you have the twins who are actively advocating against it with their radio show. It's very public on top of their store that they make to protect people. You know, they make products that protect people. You have Ginny, who's made the papers because
causing trouble at Hogwarts.
I mean, the poor guy. He has the most to lose. So it does. And he already is the most insecure in the trio. So he's the most insecure and he has the most to lose. Adding that Horcrux to him is just the perfect storm. I really feel for Hermione watching his downfall.
Yeah. And I do think it was really well done seeing that affect her and her desperately trying to stop it and not being able to. And I think the aftermath of him leaving and her like full on depressive state was really well done. Like it was
beautiful. I think
heartbreaking.
The lead up in the movies was beautiful. It like the books was beautiful. It was truly heartbreaking. Her taking up the mantle of like desperately trying to find the radio. After clinging to any scraps of Ron that were there. I mean, I just felt so bad for her. And
the ultimatum.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. It was
the ultimatum of are you coming with me?
Yes, like, the ultimatum he gives her.
Harry would die. She's the only reason you guys are alive right now. So like,
and that is such a strong choice. That is her. What character growth? What strong growth for her to go from. In the beginning of the books, it is look at me and the glory I can find. And right now, Ron is giving her the option to come away with him. This is the boy she's been in love with now for a couple years at this point. He is offering, come with me. We will escape this. We will be together. And she's just like a month ago, she was screaming that in fear that he wouldn't join them. And so for her to be like, I mean, this is very under the radar that what they're doing. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody knows what they're doing. So for her to choose, instead of publicly returning to the Burrow or to wherever with Ron to be with him and choosing instead anonymity for the betterment of the world, I'm like, this was, this is the Hermione I've been waiting for. Like, I still feel terrible for you, but like,
That decision is heartbreaking because you know there is absolutely no chance of her saying yes to Ron. Like, there's no chance. When I read it, I'm like, she is set on this goal. She's not leaving Harry to die because that's a death sentence. Like, it's just so horrible to watch someone say no to that.
Like, and she's in love with him.
Like that's so traumatic. Oh, yeah. And you see the aftermath of her being full on depressive state, not really talking. Like, you know, weeks of them just
handling it terribly. And then it's compounded with now only 2 people are sharing the Horcrux.
So no one feels good.
So it's like it's just making it worse. So I did feel like that was a very relatable, real moment and very, very well done.
We have a couple we have the fun.
There's other things.
Oh no,
that's
a huge thing. Yeah, that's a huge thing in this book. But we have slightly before that, she stuns a Death Eater in a cafe. You see her explain this to me because I don't quite understand. So we learned that in book 6, sidecar apparition is really hard, but it's a skill you can have. And she is in charge of apparating them to spots she knows. Is she apparating both of them? Or are they all apparating together and she's directing it?
She's sidecarring it.
She's sidecarring 2 people? That is intense.
She's Hermione Granger.
That is intense.
Yeah, she's the one taking them places. Yeah.
But I started realizing.
Sometimes Harry decides. Yeah. Sometimes Harry decides places. Sometimes Ron does. Yeah. And that's why it gets weird splinchy.
Yeah.
Because when she lands and rocks on that step and they see her, she panics.
Yeah.
And they have to go with. And Ron, being the weakest in this skill, didn't quite cut it. And that's also traumatizing.
Yes.
In the movies, she's a little more put together.
Yeah.
In the books, she's a mess.
Yeah.
She handles it.
Yeah.
She still handles it.
Yeah.
She still had the Dittany, that was never like she is prepared, but she is much more of a mess over Ron.
Yeah.
Two things. Ron being so wounded and now they've lost their safe haven. They've lost Creature after they just got him on their side.
Yeah.
Just like so many things happened all at once. And they had just gone to the, they had all of that moment where she made the polyjuice potion and they went to the Ministry of Magic. For that, I know we talked about that with Umbridge. Hermione in that for me does her job and does it. I don't think she does anything crazy extraordinary outside of making it happen and making the potion. Yeah. So that's sorry, I didn't mean to skip that, but for me that is executed it, moved on.
Yeah, for it to get the locket
and then
and
the
everything.
trauma of after.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did write that her version of cussing is Merlin's pants, specifically in this book, which I really liked.
Yes.
I did really like that. Oh, this we talked a little bit about this in the last one, but this is when it gets bad. She is determined to not believe Harry about the things that happen in this magical world after learning that magic exists as a muggle. Like, especially with the Deathly Hallows being really like, all these things are locking into place in this very puzzly way. And she's just like determined to not believe any of it.
Right.
And I'm just like.
And this is where I wish like Ron's like chess mindset came into play some more.
Yeah.
Because it seems like something he would jump in on. And she's still so logical. Yeah. In a world of magic.
Yeah, you're not going to believe the Deathly Hallows exist. Why wouldn't they exist? There's unicorns and there's flying invisible things. Yeah. And there's a guy who has like 7 souls. Like, so like, why is the Deathly Hallows so hard to believe?
Like, this is the lead. Like, you are running around looking for Horcruxes. Yeah. That, in the words of Ron Weasley, that you don't know what you're doing with. Yep. And you're going to blindly believe Dumbledore. Yep. And nothing else. But specifically what Dumbledore says. Yeah. Not what he gives you.
Yep. Because he gave you that. Like, do you think he wouldn't give you something that he thought would be helpful? How is that not the first? I don't know. It just.
Yeah. Because she's also given the weird knowledge of, like, she's the one who knows that, like, because she doesn't know anything about Quidditch. She doesn't like Quidditch.
The World Cup.
But she knows the snitch.
Oh, the snitch.
She knows the snitch has flesh memories.
Yes.
Flesh memories. Yes. She knows about flesh memories with the snitch. But, like, why? That felt like what you had something you had mentioned in, I think, the last episode of, like, somebody needs to tell them this. I guess Hermione will.
Hermione knows it. She's read a book.
Like that.
It's in Hogwarts of History.
Felt.
Like, it's just all there.
Yeah, like, of course. Like, he'll split everything in a book. Everything but elves. It's fine. Yep. Yeah, it just.
Oh, I have constant ragging about.
I don't know, man.
Constant ragging about Occlumency. Multiple notes about that.
Yes.
That's still happening.
Because now that he doesn't have a teacher, clearly he will just get it.
Yeah. This is going to happen in this most stressful situation in the woods.
Yeah, stop letting it in. Half the time when they're by themselves, and it's just like, come on.
Yep.
Come on. So before Ron gets back, they do go to, I think this is beautiful and tragic. Yeah. And I love how it's in the books. I love how it's in the movies. I think it's really, really well done. They finally go to Godric's Hollow. And you find out a lot of things there. There's a lot of information that's found out there. And I do appreciate that about the scene in the book. Yeah. But what I like more about it with Hermione and Harry is they have a little moment of being human.
Yeah.
Where they're running around the cemetery and then they hear the church and they're like, oh my gosh, is it Christmas?
Yeah. It's so good.
They like have a little moment together and like put their arms around each other and like happy Christmas. Yeah. And walk around and walk over, and she's the one who, they both walk over and see the house, which, side note, you should not be able to see that house if both secret keepers are dead, but that's fine. We won't talk about that right now.
Loopholes.
But the Potter's house. You should not know that exists. But they do go to the Potter's house and they both like arms around each other. Very much have a very sweet moment of them reading the plaque with Harry and everything. And seeing all those positive notes to him. And she's with him for that. And she's very supportive of that. Yeah. I do appreciate that in other books, she wasn't as mindful of like taking time and talking things over emotionally with people. She was very much like, let's get to the point and logically get through it. Yeah. So I did appreciate in this scene, this is showed a lot of growth for her as well, that she did kind of throw a little bit of caution to the wind as they were in a very public street. Yeah. as church, the Christmas, services are getting out in church and everything.
Yeah.
She's taking that time to let Harry gather himself
Yeah.
before they,
Yeah.
go into the depths of a snake.
Yeah, that was very sweet. That whole scene was very touching, especially after everything they've been through losing Ron. To the point, that their argument, I was looking over my notes again, she had to shield everyone from hurting each other in that argument.
Yes.
Like, that's how
they
bad
were
it was.
so angry. It was a fight.
Yeah. Like that's
That
just makes it 10
not
times
a
worse.
physical fight that Ron normally goes for.
Yeah.
Like wands out.
Yeah, it was rough. So that's after all of that, to have this kind of almost peaceful reality check of how long they've been there too, or how long they've been gone, was really beautiful. I really liked how that was
the
done.
melancholy of
yeah,
I wonder if Ron's okay
Yeah.
with his family for the holidays. And
yeah,
no, it was beautifully well done and a lot of emotional growth for Hermione
yes,
in that scene, which Harry desperately needed.
yes.
And maybe she needed to be around just Harry, so she wasn't
focused
just
on
being a human.
Yeah, wasn't focused on the Ron tension.
I love this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe she did need that a little bit to kind of emotionally grow a little bit for when Ron does finally get back.
And then we have the really gross Bathilda Bagshot skin suit situation.
Disgusting. Like, she doesn't notice that they're like snaking, snake talking each other.
Yeah.
Girl, where'd your ears go?
Yeah, like you found out a little too late. I do enjoy that they get the biography at that point. I do enjoy that
they
gets Rita's
and take that with
stuff.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's important too, so she can read it and learn everything. There's a lot of Hermione does gather a lot of really important information, which is her jam.
Yeah, and
it makes total sense.
The information dumping, she does that about the Horcruxes, about the snitch was the only weird one, but this one feels like it's a little more organic because she has been prepping for this stuff. She does read the biography. It feels like it's a little more organic when she does her spiels about information.
And they feel less, I'm telling you to show you that I know it.
Yeah.
And feel more like we need this information. Let me share it with you.
Yes.
Which is also growth on her part.
Yeah. Yeah, I did appreciate that. I do love that when Ron comes back, she just punches every inch of him.
Her first reaction. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. Where's my wand? Where's my wand, Harry? Where's my wand?
Yep.
Where's my wand? Why does he have your wand? Don't worry about it. Where's my wand?
Yes.
Beautifully done, the movie.
Yep. I really like that. That felt like a good release of the pain that she's gone through, and then he just shows up.
Yes. Yep. I don't know. It was beautiful. I liked them coming back. I liked that they jumped right back into it of but not the Horcrux into it. They jumped right back into their usual typical fun bickering.
Yeah.
They were okay again, which was nice and so needed. And she became herself again, and she was less sad. And
it was good.
Less in the dumps. That was, it's just, you needed Ron, and loved them, specifically Ron trying to get back on her good side.
Yeah.
And her liking it,
but
not letting it happen very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm
still mad at you, but
subtly.
I really like that you're right here doing this. But I'm still mad at you.
Right. Like, thank you for talking about the little ball of light, but also, she also in this book that I was confused about with the movie versus the book is she wears perfume, and I'm like, that does not seem like a Hermione
perfume
thing to do.
For this camping trip. No,
that felt strange to me.
Yeah,
like soap to clean yourself. Like,
obviously, but, then we move on to xenophilia.
That just is more of which I get it. She's been really, really great this whole book. So we got to remind us that she is
rude to the love goods.
So she's super rude the entire time until that Arumpet horn goes off. And I'm like, girl, you are trying. What he tells you will change the course of the entire rest of this book. You need to listen. You stop.
You need information from him.
Stop being rude to him. Stop being rude to him.
Yep.
Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah. I did appreciate that she did manage to think before they left about how to keep him from being in more trouble.
Yes.
That was good. And keeping Ron's sick thing up
nice.
because she hides him from sight. So that was a good moment for her of wait, we don't want Lovegood to be called a liar, so we're gonna at least let them see us, and then it's not his fault that we escaped.
Yes. And I think that was really important, and that was one of her, is that her only
I think that might
on the fly
I think that might be.
No, she has another one right after this.
Does she?
She has another on the fly moment that kind of works. Because she hits Harry in the face with the spell.
She did. Yeah, that was.
And they almost
got away with it.
Almost don't take him.
Yeah.
But then they did.
Yeah. She tried. It was a good thought.
That was close.
Yeah.
That was a good thought. Yeah. Her quick thinking is slowly working its way up, which is nice. Yeah. Which is nice to see. Mm-hmm. Do we dive right into Malfoy Manor?
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about anything in between that?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they escape it, then they get grabbed pretty quickly. It's not a huge chase like in the movies. In the movies, they made it a big chase, but it's very quick.
Right.
In the books.
For the drama.
Yeah, for the drama.
You know.
Then they get taken to the Malfoy Manor. Narcissa recognizes her after the Malkin thing, and Bellatrix wants to keep her for torture.
It's rough.
Drags her by the hair to the center of the room. You hear her screams from the prison below, and that's how we experience it.
Ron is just enraged.
Yeah.
He cannot control himself.
Yeah.
Down there when she is. Yeah. Which makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Through the torture does tell her that the sword is a copy.
Yes.
That's not a bad that's not bad thinking.
Well, actually not through the Are you saying that she said that it's a copy, or does she learn? She learns it's a copy from Griphook when they get saved.
I'm trying to think. Hermione might say it's not real in the torture screen.
She tries, but she doesn't believe her.
Yeah, she starts it, and then Griphook actually backs it up. So she does attempt to not reveal everything in the middle of torture, which is hard. Griphook's the one that solidifies that for them. Yeah,
because she doesn't trust Hermione at all.
Yeah. She just wants to torture her for fun. She's not actually interested in information.
Just terrifying. Terrifying. Oh, Bellatrix is terrifying when we were talking about her. Yep. So then after that terrifying moment of Hermione, and that's also something too that they don't bring up enough scarring.
Yeah.
They bring up Harry's scar all the time. Yeah. Both on his face and the one on the back of his hand. Yeah. And the things that they don't bring up the nasty scar that Ron gets when he's splinched. Yeah. And that's something that was absolutely traumatizing in so many ways. And then they don't bring up the scar that Hermione gets on her arm from Bellatrix. Yeah. That's never brought up. You know, it's like, oh, they have these and then they move on. It's not. I wish it was it came full circle at the end. Like they all left with battle scars at 17. Yeah. Like true battle scars. Yeah.
Because scars are so important.
That's not mentioned as much, but this is where she's added. And then they go to Shell Cottage, where they all needed that. They all needed Fleur to help take care of them. Hermione could take some weight off her shoulders because Hermione had been taking on so much, not mentally, but like physically. She was the one who was healing them and keeping them alive and doing all this stuff. And so for her to finally be able to rest and let Fleur, who is a very accomplished witch herself, take care of that herself. She was the one who took care of Griphook and Ollivander and everybody. Yeah. Hermione could just recover.
Well, and that's
was so needed.
We talked about this in our Deathly Hallows Part 1 After Hours that we released for everyone. She is in such bad shape after the torture, and you don't get to see that in the movies because they have to kind of wrap it up very quickly. No. But she's like, comes to the graveside, gets taken in right away as soon as they arrive, and then comes back to the graveside in a dressing gown and is...
And she's still bleeding.
Yeah. She's super pale when she shows back up. She's really unsteady, and Ron is supporting her when she comes out to Dobby's grave. So she's not part of the digging like that. She's traumatized and recovering.
The digging is just Harry in the book. Yeah. He wants to do it himself. Luna offers, but, you know. Luna's also probably malnourished at this point, so she goes in for a little bit too. No, I think this was a beautiful moment in the books for everybody to gear up for what's next. This is where they learn a lot. They talk to Dean, they talk to Luna, they learn about the sword. They figure out where the final Horcrux that they potentially know of could be in Bellatrix's vault. They make the deal with Griphook. I mean, there's a lot that happens here that kind of is lumped in together with everybody. Yeah. Fleur and Luna kind of take the spotlight while they're at Shell Cottage while Hermione recovers, understandably. Yes. So I didn't have a whole ton for her specifically while at Shell Cottage, which I'm fine with. The poor girl needed to rest before now. Yeah. Now she has to become her abuser.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah. That's insane.
In the next big moment.
Yeah. One of the big notes I had for her at the cottage was just that she is now forced to believe that the Elder Wand exists. Like, there's like she is now forced to believe in it. I was like, there it is.
I told you so,
right?
girl.
Yeah, who gets to say that? No one. But yeah, that's it.
I'm so glad you said that.
But it is really fascinating because she does have a polyjuice potion thing with you're right, with the ministry, and it's just kind of she does it, they go in, she has to sit through the mudbug trials, which is really hard.
It's still not fun for her, don't get me wrong, but
this version of
she doesn't have any like standout moments.
This version of the polyjuice,
this is her moment.
Ooh, they got the wand, she has to lie convincingly, and to have to see herself if she passes any mirrors as the person who tortured her, traumatizing. So
and making this scene, just since it is both of it is Hermione, I will mention it here, and I'll probably mention it in the movie as well. But like, so to make this scene and make it really Hermione, both actresses together decided to watch each other do it.
Yeah.
So they both watched each other act out the scene, so that Helena Bonham Carter was watching Emma Watson pretend to be Helena Bonham Carter, being Emma Watson. As Bellatrix, who is being played by Hermione. I mean, it's just like the wild back and forth. But it does pay off in the end. I think it translated to the film beautifully. I think it did a great job. How it's written in the book. I mean, like the amount of trauma she'd have to like pack up for a little bit to like become her. I think this is a lot for her character. For her to be the one to be like, I'm going to be her. Because any of them could have been her.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But for her to be like, I think I will be Bellatrix. That was really cool. And she does her best. She tries. I mean, grip hook
just better than I expected.
Definitely helps.
Yeah,
she did. This is probably one of her most successful manipulative moments. It's, still not like for Hermione, this was
big deal.
Amazing. This was a big deal for her. And she did do a great job and did, with a little help from Harry and Grip Hook, did get into the vault eventually.
And I will say, to watch the growth from the, hey, Draco left 10 seconds ago, let me try to manipulate my way into information at Borgins.
Oh my gosh, this is great.
To breaking in as Bellatrix. Big growth. Big growth on her abilities.
Yes. She did have a little more time to plan, but still, in the moment where she still had to improvise her way through what they would say. There's only so much Grip Hook could quiz her,
And lying about having the wand and trying to be really like aggressive to people, and it was really and I do think I agree with you, Helen Bowen Carter absolutely nailed it in the movies. Like that work,
they both like had fun working together, being each other.
It was brilliantly done in the movies. And then
it's one of those moments that you watch it and you're like, yes, they nailed it. This is what happened in the book, this is it. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
This is, I do enjoy that Hermione helps the dragon escape with clearing the path.
Yes.
Like that was good on her. I like that she has to fly on the dragon. I mean, like, what kind of amazingness is that?
She did need to get out, so I don't know if it was for the dragon's sake.
No, it's not for the dragon's sake at all. But it's cool that she's the one blasting through. Like
yes, it does make sense.
The drama of her blasting the way for this dragon to escape a vault. Like, what?
Well,
love it.
And her writing it does make sense because she is better on, like, she prefers Thestrals.
That's true. Yeah.
Much like Fleur.
Yeah.
They prefer animals. She's much better. Like, still doesn't like it, but is better on an animal than she is on a broom.
Yeah.
Still baller. Yeah. Oh my goodness, for all of you involved.
Yeah. The trio in general, riding a dragon out of the vaults of Gringotts is just great.
Who wasn't so satisfied by that? Like, oh my gosh, this is dreams.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. That was very, very cool. And thus leads to this is their decision to go to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
After all of this. Because they have nothing else. They have the cup. They have the cup packed away. The cup luckily had no crazy nonsense with it other than if you touch it, it multiplies 1,000 times. So that's helpful. Helpful. They could just like toss that in a bag somewhere and be fine with it. But this is where they make the tough decision to go back to to Hogwarts. Did you have anything you want to say before we get to Hogwarts? Because my favorite Ron and Hermione moment happens right away.
Oh no, I don't think I have anything. I'm like, I've gotten to where I couldn't type them out yet because there were so many notes.
Yeah,
so
same.
I've now searching through the notebook. But yeah, no, I think the Hogwarts is the next big thing that we do. So what's your favorite? What's your favorite moment?
My favorite. I mean, it's just like, it's disappointing that it's not in the books or in the movies. It's in the books. And it's the kiss.
Yeah.
So you see very early on, they have their meeting, they talk. Hermione and Ron are kind of like side characters for this moment, is like Harry's talking and like Ginny's kind of taking point a little bit. And then Harry and Luna go off. And after a while, Harry's like trying to get back to his friends and like cannot find them. Like, where are they? What are they doing? You do find out that they were in the Chamber of Secrets, and Ron has been with Harry so long that he can say open in parcel tongue, which is kind of impressive really cool. When you think about it. Like, very few people, this is like a genetically magically learned magic, like language, and he has heard it enough to pick it up from his friend to know the word open.
Yeah,
awesome. Impressive. And you see them and they're like breathing heavily. They have a pile full of fangs and they're both thrilled. And I love so many parts of this moment. Yeah. In the movies, they kiss. It's a really dramatic, and I get it. It's a very dramatic coming together. Fun fact, they both were not thrilled to do that scene.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they were very nervous about it and wanted it to be in as few takes as possible.
I could see that.
Can't remember for sure if they got it in only one.
Yeah.
I think they might have, because they were such close friends. And like, it is very cute chemistry. I think they work really well. And like, Rupert does the best with what he's freaking given with, the poor guy. So, but in the books, so they have escaped the Chamber of Secrets, and they have like just bags of fangs. The cup has already been wrecked, and they're both they're doing that finish each other's sentences thing again, where they're just like amped. They're so excited. They're like, and you know, Ron's like, oh yeah, I let Hermione do it. She hasn't done it before. And Hermione's like, no, but Ron brought us into the chamber. It was his idea. Oh my gosh! And they're just like hyping each other up, and it is so endearing and sweet. And then it finishes with Ron suddenly like being struck with a thought as they're holding all this stuff, and he's like, oh my gosh, we have to tell the house elves, like they're gonna
need to save them.
They don't know. We have to say okay. And this is what Hermione drops everything she's holding. All of the fangs hit the ground, kisses him, and it is so sweet. Harry does stick in the mud. Stops them short.
I mean,
but
fair.
I do really appreciate it. Fair. You do have everything to handle. But that is such a beautiful, fun, great moment. And it's so satisfying. Not only of how it happened, but just the buildup before. They are so thrilled with each other and amping each other up. And I really, really liked it. And it was nice that happened before all the nonsense happened.
Because that kiss was going to mean something in the books. So for it to happen in such a dramatic and beautiful way, that it was satisfying. It was so satisfying. It was fine in the movies, but like...
And like, it was fine. But it was like, I don't know. It felt very normal. It felt like if Ron had said something like that just while they were at school in 7th year, that she would have done that as well.
Yeah, same reaction, you know, like, for sure. Yeah.
And which made it more endearing and sweet of them having just like a regular high school moment.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that, she just happens to be dropping like basilisk fangs that they just plucked from a carcass.
And a Horcrux. Yes.
Like, it was very good. I really like that. This is
a highlight.
This is the culmination of their relationship, like officially happening.
Yes.
You know, like it's the tension.
And the start of this relationship was real rocky in a dramatic way. I mean, they are always very strong, but one of the next big things that happens, I mean, the battle starts and they do go through the fiend fire first when they try to get they go to get the diadem and they almost die in there. But they get out of that trauma. Almost die. Hermione's the one to be like, I think it was this kind of fire, which is why it broke the Horcrux. Turns around and watches her future brother-in-law drop dead.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking. And that Hermione's in tears, having to keep Ron from like trying to avenge Fred right away. Like
it's distraught. Ron and Percy's just shocked.
Yeah.
Ron is inconsolable.
Yeah.
Like Hermione was putting her entire heart, soul, and body into keeping him back.
Yeah.
Because he, like you said,
Yeah.
was not. And that's, what a way to test the relationship 10 minutes in, man.
Yeah. Like it's a lot, and that's a lot to deal with. And for her to they were in a moment where they can't even process what's happening, because then, and we talked a little about this in the
they do not have
students
time.
with Lavender, because she throws Fenrir off of Lavender and doesn't stop to help Lavender, but just tosses him off for real quick.
Yeah.
Like it's
right. And like Fred, they put his body into a suit of armor.
Oh, that's right.
And then move on. Yes.
Oh.
So Hermione not only is consoling him because he's dead, but now has to help Ron get through. She's
touching it and moving it.
Has she seen anybody die in front of her before? I don't think so. I don't think she's seen anybody drop dead in front of her before.
She couldn't see the...
So now she can see Thestrals.
Yeah, she was knocked out for Sirius, so she wouldn't have seen Sirius die.
No, she now can see Thestrals.
Yeah.
Not that they're there then, but still, she's walking out. He drops dead. Now she is picking up a dead body. There's so much. There's so much to unpack there.
Yep.
On top of dealing with Ron.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. All of the trauma they'll have to unpack later.
Yep.
And then they go through the battle like you had mentioned. You have Lavender, which I wish there was a moment for her.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have hit Hermione a little harder. Not that they needed to stop and weep.
Yeah.
But maybe that could have been a moment for Ron. Maybe she stops.
Yeah, and Ron brings her along. Yeah.
You know, and Ron goes, we can't wait.
Yeah.
And he's also distraught about it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? There could have been more there. But this is, they run out. We see Hermione also right after they escape the school fails to make a Patronus.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Cannot do it right away. So much has happened. Harry tries. It almost works.
Yeah.
But it's not a fully fledged Patronus, so it's not enough.
Yeah.
And then we get that beautiful moment with Luna.
Yeah.
But they've been through a lot. Those three just watched so many people
die
in front of them. Yeah. And something in the movie that I do really enjoy that you see Hermione with as she runs around is they go through all of the books. So you see them run through, you see spiders, you see all these things that they go through each event of the books. You see visually, which is beautiful. And in the books, Hermione is holding Ron and running and saying, Harry, where are we going?
Yeah.
As they travel on.
Yeah.
And it's yikes.
Yeah.
It's I mean good. It's just
so
it's one of those moments where like you didn't want to put it down because you just were so scared that they weren't gonna make it.
Yeah, and you've already killed off some like people you love. So it's hard to you don't know where they're going to go.
Is Hermione next? We don't want that.
Yeah, we don't know where we're going next. And then you do get the break in the fighting when they ask for Harry and you see her hugging Jenny because you're finally getting to deal with Fred and the family.
Yes.
Which is really sad. And
Harry has his moments by himself.
Yep.
You do see something that's a little different is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure. I think I'm remembering this correctly. In the movies, there is a moment where you see she knows that he's the last Horcrux first. You see her visually make that decision to be like, you're going out and you're the last one and you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in the books, I think it's Ron.
Yeah, I don't think it's her in the books, if I'm remembering right. Because doesn't he sneak out? Like, he doesn't tell him that that's what he's doing.
He sneaks out.
Yeah, because in the movies, they have that kind of moment where they know he's going, right? But in the books, they have no clue he's left.
No. Yeah. He sneaks off. And I thought, and I totally could be wrong, I thought Ron had made some comment at some point of like, do you need to die? Because
the prophecy kind of hints at him dying at some point. So Harry's kind of understood that that's a thing. But I don't know that they ever made the connection that he is the Horcrux.
Right.
Specifically. Yes. I think they knew that was a possibility, but I don't think they knew that the Horcrux specifically was him. So yeah, I think he sneaks out in the books without anyone making a big to do about it.
He does for sure. Yeah, sneak out, which is just So then obviously we do not see anything from Hermione until Harry is brought back. McGonagall is the first to scream. Yep. Then you have Ron and Hermione following up with Ginny ending with like, no, he's not dead.
Yeah.
A very different comment than what they say. Yeah. And that is obviously very devastating. But this is all still very Harry heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do, which makes sense. This is the culmination of the books.
Yeah.
This is him. He's like, atone for your sin, feel regret your sin. Like, oh my gosh, what powerful. Yep. Hermione does go up against Bellatrix for a hot second,
which is also traumatic others. After the torture.
Yes. Get it, girl. Get it.
Yep.
Get your dues.
Yep. Hold the fact that they hold their own at all and none of them die because it's Luna, her, and Jenny before Molly comes in. Impressive.
It's super impressive. Yep. Yeah.
And then Hermione and Ron are the first to wrap their arms around Harry once Voldemort is dead.
I love that.
I love that too.
All the different trios.
Yeah, it's like all encircling him, but they're the first to get to him.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
I like that a lot. And then at the end of the book, you have Harry deciding what to do with everything.
Yeah.
Both Ron and Hermione have little moments of like, but what if? And Harry's like, nah, we don't need these things.
Yeah. Be put to rest.
Can't go back or whatever. Which I did enjoy. And then you do find out in the end of the series that they do get married.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of little redhead children. Yep. She goes on to work for the ministry right away, then becomes a minister of magic. For me, just with how she doesn't delegate very well, she doesn't read the room, she doesn't read people. I don't think minister of magic makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
I feel like after the events of everything and how good she was at like, especially with book 7, with getting them around and like figuring things out, and her, I would have loved her to be the head of the Department of Mysteries.
Yeah, I feel like she's someone who...
I think that would have been so cool. And she would have been so good at it.
Yeah, the Ministry of Magic... I mean, after the debacle that was Spew, I don't want her in charge of any real organization.
No.
I feel like she would have been a really good asset as someone to go and figure out what's going on and to protect things.
That's why I'm like Department of Mysteries, man.
Yeah,
it's just like
I think she'd be fair
knowledge of trying to figure out what's going on and like I don't know.
But, Ministry of Magic I don't think would be a good position for her. I really don't. I agree. I think head of some department, the mysteries, I think would be great.
For sure.
To use her knowledge to be in the field if she needs to be. Like, because
the Department of Mystery is like essentially like a really jacked up librarian
like
of
archives,
really mystical, powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Which would be super cool.
Yeah.
We will not talk about Cursed Child, why do you still have your time turner? That's dumb.
Yep.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Ministry of Magic makes sense to me. Minister of Magic doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I agree. I think it's the author being like, and now she's in charge of everything. But no, that doesn't.
Yeah.
She would not be good at that.
Her having kids, though, I think is fun.
Yeah.
I think Ron would I see her not having, obviously, as many kids as
she has 2,
Molly,
right? Like Rose and Hugo or something like that?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, because then Potters have 3.
Yeah.
And then Malfoy has 1. Scorpio.
I
don't know why I said that like an absolute weirdo. Anyway,
we've been talking a lot about Hermione.
Yeah, it's fine. But
but yeah, that's
they have the 2 kids, and it's
she's come a long way. She's come a long way from we're doing magic. Let's see on the train.
Yes.
So
guys, we've also come a long way.
You have no idea.
This has been such a journey. We try to include, especially if you check out our YouTube, where we did post our surprise bonus after hours episode for everyone. We'll see if we can make a video just for you to see the stress and all the chaos that went into making specifically
this episode,
the duology Hermione episodes. Yeah, it's been crazy, but we appreciate you so much and would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on how you felt about our heroine, Hermione Granger.
Yeah, she was someone who I knew I loved growing up because I watched the movies first. But reading the books as an adult, I found a lot more issues with her than I thought I would. And she's still a really cool heroine and she has some really great traits and she does some cool things. But I was really fascinated by going back and looking at the problematic things that haven't aged well or weren't good to begin with, but I'd never caught before. And it was a journey. It was a journey with her for sure.
As someone who's written to be a strong pro-feminist, I was disappointed.
Yeah, it's a little upsetting. She's still a really cool witch, and she's very smart.
Yes.
And she's really impressive.
Glad we finished with her.
Yeah.
Still Harry Potter and all the times Hermione saved your life.
So they would, yes.
Parts
she
1 through
saves
7.
so many lives. Yeah, she really is clutch in book 7 and many other books. She's really impressive.
Yes.
But I think it's important to go back through some of these things and to look at them with an eye being like, okay, what are these issues that come up? Like, why is there so woman on woman hate? Why are the things not as progressive as you want them to be? Like, there's a lot of that came through.
This is a really great character to unpack.
Yes.
So thank you for unpacking her for 2 episodes.
Yes. And it needed
we appreciate you all so much.
We needed 2 episodes for this. And thank you guys for joining us for this whole season, our 2nd season with the Harry Potter witches. Yes. It was so much fun for spooky season. We have some stuff cooking up for you next season, so stay tuned for that. But it's been great.
So enjoy your holidays.
Yes.
And we'll see you shortly after the holidays for season 3.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Damsels in Dialogue. Keep an eye out on our website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to find out what we are cooking up for you in our next season.
If you enjoyed listening today, we'd love to have you subscribe to this podcast and share with friends.
If you really enjoyed our discussion, you can find more behind-the-scenes content, a peek at our research notes, and even entire bonus episodes on Patreon. Each month, we release a full after-hours episode where we will discuss each movie adaptation and don't hold back.
You can reach us on social media. Links to all of our platforms can be found in our About section. Until next time, this has been Damsels in Dialogue.
Have a nice day.
And fuck TERFs. This podcast has been sponsored by Hazel Society. You can find them at Instagram at Hazel Society Shop. Damsels in Dialogue is produced by Hello Out There Audio, part of Hello Out There Productions.